We often call the 20th and 21st century modernism. Now, modernism emphasizes understanding the differences in others, saying the great others, and with this concept, human rights for the underprivileged became a core issue. Well, at about the same time, a bit later than modernism, many people start using the word globalization. For the majority of people, globalization sounds more profitable to the country. So government policies start to flash light on the importance of diplomatic decisions rather than looking after the great others in their country and their human rights. This is where UN comes in and starts to bring attention back to the rights with the Vienna Declaration in 1993. UN has announced the Vienna Declaration in 1993 at the World Conference of Human Rights. Soon after the declaration was adopted at the conference, there were many concrete recommendations for strengthening the UN in the fields of human rights, and they made the High Commissioner for Human Rights by General Assembly. The first few declarations that were officially submitted were mostly for women and children. For example, elimination for violence against women and the adopted was declared in 1993, ensuring that violence in both private and public sphere is prohibited. What comes next is human rights for migrants in 1999, providing migrants with equality in foreign countries. Now let's hop over to 2002, when human rights for children under 18 in the army appears. Many children have been used for war in so many countries, including Korea before we became independent from Japan. To go in a little deeper with what UN has done for human rights, in 2003, each country may have had their own rules and practical measures to combat threatening situations, but there was none in international terms. So, for one of the first of those rules was the optional protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in people, especially for women and children. And until now, UN has established so many more declarations for human rights. For more than 20 years, UN has accomplished so much for human rights, and especially for those who are out of sight. But I feel the necessity for adding some more clauses for people in war. Korea was the colony of Japan for 35 years and became independent in 1945. From 1910, Japanese told Korean women that they could earn money by working, so Korean women followed them, and there they found out that they were brought as comfort women. They had to spend years in pain. Japan has not apologized yet, so the human rights for these women are still lost. Plus, I hope there are more strong declarations made for people who are taken for forced labor. They naturally have the same rights as other human beings, but are not treated that way. To borrow what deontologist Kant said, act in such a way that you always treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never simply as a means, but always at the same time as an end, emphasizing human rights of every person. There are still people who are being taken for compulsory labor these days. Where has gone the human rights for them? UN has made many clauses for those around the world, but I hope that UN and people around the world get the opportunity to think once again about people being taken for forced labor, or as comfort women. We need to keep paying attention to those in war that are isolated from the society and are being treated less than humanly. As a student always wanting to be part of UN, it was such an honor for me getting the opportunity to speak out. Thank you for listening.